Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about Ken Chesebro, the latest installment in the Everything That Trump Touches Dies theme. So Chesebro is first a puzzling figure, the former research assistant to Larry Tribe, etc. But he basically, for reasons of ambition or crazy ideological conversion or whatever, was the architect of a theory of unlawful conspiracy to keep Biden from becoming certified as the president of the United States on January 6th. He's the guy who suggested that Pence could simply refuse to certify in his role under the Constitution, which is basically, it's clear to just open the envelopes and say what they say. But he was pushing this stronger than anyone. He has tried at times to suggest, it was just academic exercise or was all contingent on winning things in court. But the evidence is very strongly contrary and very strong that, like Jeff Clark and others, his head was turned by being, up close and personal to the president and maybe able to be making a kingmaker or a tyrant maker or autocrat maker by having this theory go forward and at least introduce chaos that, as Trump put it, then his members of Congress would take over. Anyway, he is one of the 19 defendants in Georgia, and he took an early plea to a crime there involving a particular count, but this conduct. And so he's a felon now. There is, as he argues, so now what has happened is New York has suspended his license to practice law. So he's part of the legal detritus, like Rudy Giuliani, that did Trump's bidding and have lost their license to practice law because they were lying about the facts and advocating legal positions that had no basis. And lawyers have minimal obligations for your arguments to be plausible, factually based, etc. So Chesebro has a license to practice in New York and other jurisdictions. And the grievance committee in New York said, hey, look, he's been indicted in Georgia and he did these things that are completely wrong under a lawyer's basic obligations, and he pleaded guilty to them. So we should suspend his license to practice here. Now, Chesebro tried to say it's not exactly final yet. He tried to say it's kind of just a little bit more than an indictment, even though he pleaded guilty, because he's pointing to a provision of Georgia law, according to which he could, at the end of the day, serve his sentence and have the whole thing go away. What the appellate division, the kind of middle level in New York, said, accepting the position of the grievance committee, is it's final enough. He pleaded to it, and they went through a whole colloquy that he did this, he did that, he did the other. That's what you do when you plead guilty. You concede that there is a factual basis to the charges against you. Chesebro did that, and so the New York court finds that, the consequences for his license to practice law in New York should follow. And that means he is suspended immediately if under New York law, indefinitely or provisionally, but he's now got to come and show cause why it shouldn't be permanent. Don't expect him to do it. It seems to me pretty clear that Ken Chesebro's days as a practicing lawyer in New York jurisdiction have come to an end. And of course, that's the least of his problems with other criminal charges pending against him. By the way, this will be for a future discussion, but if Trump wins, I just did an op-ed that we attached to a previous YouTube about all the ways that Trump escapes accountability, but it's a much richer question. What about all the president's men here? What about Ken Chesebro? What about Rudy Giuliani? What about even Jeff Clark? That's going to be a question. Now, of course, Trump, if he's president, could immediately pardon them, but that wouldn't make the state charges go away. Anyway, guys like Chesebro, who have been indicted in Georgia, do not come to the end of the line on Tuesday. If Trump wins, it's a lot more complicated than that, but we can assume that Trump will try, as the head of the federal government executive branch, to muck up the works or let them off free. He cannot reinstate a license to practice law. As I've said, Chesebro is toast there, and a lot of the state charges can still go forward. We'll look at that in more detail later, but I just wanted to put in that little asterisk here. So they call him the cheese among his colleagues, and here, as I tweeted, the cheese stands alone. He loses his effort to retain his license to practice law in New York, and there are a couple other jurisdictions where he may also be in a world of hurt. In any event, looking forward, his professional fortunes as a legal practitioner were not very rosy anyway, and he's really, his focus is going to have to be consistent with whatever Trump touches dies, trying to stay out of jail and push back against the charges growing out of his having been the architect of the unlawful plan for January 6th, and having Pence basically violate his constitutional oath, something Pence would not do. So that's Ken Chesebro's latest chapter. More to come, as with other of the Team Trump, who will be facing the music in different ways, even if Trump is elected president. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.